Hello, fellow Inquisitors! Split Persona here, and welcome back to another Inquisitor Martyr tutorial video. In this episode, we are going to be covering pistols. We're going to go over an overview of how they work. We're going to cover the different types of them and how best to utilize them. So, the first thing we're going to cover is basically who can use them. Pistols can be used by your three primary classes: Crusader, Assassin, Psyker. They cannot be used by your DLC Tech Adept class. He just cannot use them. However, if you are going to unlock the full potential of a pistol build, you are going to want to stick to either a Crusader or an Assassin. The Psyker can only unlock half of a potential of a pistol build, and I'll explain the reasoning for that. It's not that the Psyker is any less, but the Psyker is a different character class altogether. The Psyker relies more on their psychic abilities than an actual weapon to deal damage and destroy enemies. So, that is who you're going to primarily want to use pistols: your Crusaders and your Assassins. So, let's take a look at how you would go about using a build for pistols and what the advantages would be. So, if I open up my character's inventory here, you'll notice that I have two weapons here. And the reason for that is pistols can be dual wielded. More importantly, they can be dual wielded with different types. You do not need the same pistol type. I have a Laspistol in my primary, and I have a Grav-pistol in my secondary slot. You can mix and match pistols if you want. However, pistols are a unique weapon class. If we look at this here, you'll see that these first two abilities are highlighted. The second two are grayed out. The reasoning for that is you have your second pistol. Now, how do we go about getting these unlocked? Simple. We're going to unequip the mismatch pair, and we're going to equip the same type. If you want to unlock all four skills that a pistol has, you need to dual wield the same pistol type. That is how you go about accessing their third and their fourth abilities. It doesn't mean that you can't still dual wield different types if you need to. If your build is built around two different types of pistols, let's say I want to go and have one set up with one set of enchantments and the other one set up with a different set of enchantments. One for taking out, basic mobs and the other one taking out armor, I can. But if I need access to, say, dual beams, the only way to get it, let me do this, is to use two Laspistols. Doesn't have to be the same rarity level. Because, let me show you, if I equip two different rarities of Grav-pistol, all of the things are highlighted. So they don't need to be the same rarity at all. They can be different rarity level. You can, like I said, you can mix and match depending on how your build is going to go. But if you want access to this third and fourth slot ability, you have to use the same pistol because you're only allowed so many abilities. And the pistol is going to take up those abilities. And if you have two different types, it balances it out between the two. So that's why in order to gain these last two abilities, you need the same pistol in the other slot. But, like I said, if you have a build where, let's say I even wanted to go with a plasma pistol, I can. I can go with a Laspistol, a plasma pistol. I could go with, say, a Grav-pistol and plasma. I could even go with an Autopistol and do it that way. There's a lot of different combinations when it comes to the pistols. So the primary reason for using pistols, in my opinion, is flexibility. Not only are you gaining the ability to have two different weapon damage types at the same time, you're also gaining the ability to have double the enchantments. Because remember, if you're having a single weapon, you're only having so many enchantment points. See, right here, I have 3 enchantment points. However, I switch over here, I have 3 on this one, and I have 3 on this one. I've just doubled my enchant ability. And if you get the relic classes, you can get the relic enchantments as well. So dual wielding with pistols is not a bad thing. It's not that they're necessarily an inferior weapon in the game. A lot of people don't use them as far as I know. But they need to be used correctly. If you're going to use them, you need to have a build dedicated just for pistols. One of the other things I will say is all pistols have assault. That's one of their skills. Like if you look at every single one of these skills, they all say assault. Assault is a unique characteristic for pistols. Plus 30% damage bonus against targets closer than 10 meters. Pistols are going to be a close range weapon. Close to mid range, I would say. Probably optimal at mid, but better if they're a little bit closer. So these are definitely not going to be long range. You're not going to be sniping somebody out far with a set of pistols. You're going to be going into the middle of battle. You're going to be dual wielding pistols, blasting away, stuff like that. But they're not designed for long range. They get damage bonus the closer an enemy gets to you. That's what this assault is. This assault perk, if you look over there on the right, 30% damage bonus against targets closer than 10 meters. The closer an enemy gets to you, the more you're going to hit them hard. So keep that in mind if you're building with pistols. You want to be close. So good defense, make sure you have good armor, a good shield, and if you're going to be building with pistols, get right up in their face because you want that assault to trigger. You're only going to have so much range with these pistols, any of them. Like even if I go over here, if you look, even on the auto pistol, see? Assault is there. I go over here to plasma pistol, assault is there. Grav-pistol, assault. They all have the assault perk. Assault is a common perk on all pistols. So keep that in mind when you're building. Get up close, get in their face, deal a ton of damage. It's not to say that you can't deal range damage farther away. It's just you're going to deal more damage up close. So that is an overview of how to utilize, who can utilize, and why you would utilize pistols. Now we're going to get into the actual pistols themselves. We're going to go over each type, same as with all my other tutorials. You know, we're going to cover it, we're going to demonstrate them, stuff like that. So I'm going to back out of here. We're going to go over to a map, and I will see you in a few seconds. So the first pistol type we're going to talk about is the Laspistol. So, Laspistol is single shot, long range. Assault, better criticals, single target. Short burst, long range. Rapid fire, assault, spread tight, single target. Aimed shot, long range. Aimed, assault, better criticals, single target. Dual beam, channeled, assault. So, again, I'm using 2 of the same so I can showcase, you know, all 4 of the abilities, just to go and show them off. So, the first thing we're going to show off is the assault perk. Now, if I target this, if you look, I have the tactical view on. So right here is your 10 meter range, here is your 20. So if I target this, I'm dealing 47 damage. If I target this, I'm dealing 61. 123, 47. 61, 61, 47. So, again, you're dealing with anything outside this cone here is going to be taking standard damage. Anything inside this is going to be taking that plus 30% damage. Now, let's take a look at some of our skills. We were just looking at single shot. Fairly quick, can deal, you know, decent amounts of damage. Ignore that little critical bonus damage. But that is the, that's that better criticals that kicks in. That 120 something damage that we're seeing. That's the better criticals perk. You know, plus 25% critical damage. It's dealing more critical damage and it has a slightly higher chance of it. So that is single shot. Short burst. So it has a slight little cooldown. And if you look, it's just 3 little bursts in a row. Same thing, you can target all the way out to here still, but you're going to go and deal more damage if they're inside this cone. So that's short burst. The next one is aimed shot. Now, aimed shot, if you hold it down, will do that. So basically, it allows you to target weak spots. Activate by holding the attack button and selecting a body part in the appearing circular menu. I've covered this weapon ability before, but I've never fully explained it. So if I hold this... Oop, come on. Ah, it doesn't want to do it for me. You should be able to just hold this down. Oh, you know what? I don't have an actual enemy here. Let's go find one. That's why it's not working right for me. So let's target him. See the cycle that's coming up and it's building up there? There. And then it does that. So that is... hang on. Let's just do this and clear him up. There we go. Okay, goodbye. So that takes care of them. So that is aimed shot. As you've seen, that little reticle came up. You could select, you know, specific body parts, whether it be head, torso, stuff like that, and a counter would go up and down and fluctuate. That is your timer. To be honest, you're better off just pressing and releasing. Unless you're really good in using a sniper, that whole reticle is not the best for pistols, in my opinion. Dual beams. This one is a channeled thing. If we hold this down, we will go through obstacles. And we will deal lots of damage to anything in the way. But, if you look, our heat gauge goes up on both pistols. It is utilizing both pistols at the same time. That is why you can only use it when you have two of the same type. And let's just get these out of the way because I don't want them mixing up with my thing. So, that is the Laspistol. It's a heat-based weapon, you know. So, if you have a heat build and you want to have more enchantments and stuff like that, not a bad weapon to have. So, definitely a starter weapon, but I would say this one would be a good one to, you know, go through some basic level stuff. Probably not going to be taking on any bosses with it, but it'll definitely clear out some basic mobs. So, that's the Laspistol, and then we are going to go on to the Grav-pistol. Okay, so the Grav-pistol has single shot, long range, armor piercing, assault, strong versus armored, demolisher, single target, temporal anomaly, assault, slow, stun, single target, gravity well, area effect, persistent, slow, demolisher, gravity flare, aura, knockdown, knockback. So these right here, this is definitely very similar to your regular rifles. Most of these are built off of the regular rifles, just on a smaller compact scale. This is definitely your anti-armor. So we're going to show off single shot. Does a ton of damage to armor, as you can see there. Just demolishes anything with armor or anything that is, you know, a heavy target. It'll deal a ton of damage to cover, you know, if you need to remove cover for some reason, a grav weapon is very much the way to go. Very short cooldown timer, you know, stuff like that. Temporal anomaly. Not the best to show here, but basically what it'll do is it will stun armored targets. Let's actually see if we can't go find some armored ones, because it's going to be easier to show off. Plus, I'm out of destroyable objects. Okay, if you see there, I knocked that Banshee back, and it stunned them. But it did say stun resist, if you looked. So, it does have a stun effect on it, but the stun effect only works on armored targets, but it will slow down anything else. So, you're going to be using that mostly against armored targets. Gravity well is an area effect. And up here we go. Very similar to your actual rifle. It has a just big AoE that'll just target anything in the area and just deal slow damage over time. And let's just clear these guys up, because I don't... Oh, here we go. There we go. That guy was armored. And as you've seen, we hit him with this, and he didn't fire for a few seconds. That is that stun effect of the temporal anomaly. So, we've covered these three. Now we have gravity flare. Gravity distortion wave with knockdown effect. So, let's see if we can't find a couple more up here. And activate it. Basically, it's just going to go and push enemies away from you. So, keep in mind, it's only going to be effective at pushing enemies away and dealing some damage. It's not going to be a ton, but it will deal some. And there are definitely some heavy enemies over here, so we will show off the pistols. And like I said, they're not bad weaponry. they're not something you're going to be wanting to go and... See, right there, I knocked him back. Activating the gravity well, you know, stuff like this. They're slowed. That's the biggest thing. That slow effect, you know, utilize your weapons to their full advantage. So, they are useful, but they're going to be harder to take on bosses. That's why I would say always, if you're going to be building with pistols, have a heavy weapon equipped or something, a single hand or a single slot weapon to deal with bosses. Because these are going, unless you have a really good set of pistols, like this is a rare pistol. This is a relic pistol. These are not the best for taking on bosses. If you're going to be going and doing stuff, make sure you have a good set of gear. You can do stuff with pistols. It is not impossible. You just need the right pistols. So that... Oops, I went. That is the Grav-pistol. Next, we're going on to the plasma. Okay, so the plasma pistol is going to have single shot, assault, demolisher, single target, focused bolt, armor piercing, assault, vulnerability, heat, demolisher, and single target, piercing strike, piercing, AoE, high suppression, and finally, overcharge, charged shot, knockdown, knockback, demolisher, and single target. Now, this is another heat-based weapon. You know, so each pistol can come in, you know, each of these pistols is just basically based off of the bigger version of it. So if you have a build that is focused around a specific damage type, you can still use your pistols in their place. So, how do they work? Single shot. Just like it says on the cover, you're just dealing a single shot of damage. But it does a ton of damage to cover. So, and as you can see, when you dual wield, they fire very fast. Think of this as the upgraded version to the Laspistol. Both are heat-based, but this one is the upgraded version. So that is single shot. Very, very heavy on, you know, extreme damage to cover. It will do damage. Let's go up here. And let's just see if we can't get just one or two to come out at us. Yep, there we go. Come here. Oh, don't dodge. Stop dodging. As you can see, it is dealing quite a bit of damage to enemies. So, keep that in mind. It will deal a lot of damage. Focused bolt. This is the armor piercing side of that. So, this will have a armor piercing ability built right in. Completely ignores armor. So, it also has the vulnerability heat. Target receives plus 10% heat damage for 5 seconds. Stacks up to 10 times. So, this damage type is heat-based, which is good because the whole pistol is heat element. So if I go like this, as you can see, I just completely eliminated it. I'm just one-shotting them. So, I don't have anything that's armored here, but if I did, they would be taking a lot more damage over time from the heat effect. But that is Focus Bolt. Piercing Strike. Pierces multiple targets stopped by obstacles. Counts as AoE. This one, can use to wipe out large groups of enemies that are charging you. So let's see if we can't find a group or two. Get them to charge us. Okay, come on. As you can see, it shot through a whole bunch of them. There we go. And it just did that. Just like that. I'm shooting out 2 from each of my pistols. And it just goes in a straight line just through all of them. So that's piercing strike. If you have a long corridor with a bunch of enemies charging at you, this works very well. Overcharge. This is an ability where you can either instantly fire or charge up the shot to deal more damage. It has a knockdown and a knockback effect, but it depends on how the target's suppression is. Again, more damage to... As you can see, I'm charging and then it releases. And it just instantly destroyed that cover. So, same thing, I'm charging and it auto-releases once it's fully charged. And it just instantly destroys cover. So, keep that in mind. Let's do it here. It's hard to tell, but... There. And we're going to just launch that. And launch that again. Take out that enemy. As you can see, it does very well against armored targets. Armored targets do not stand much of a chance. It will take out regular enemies as well. So, the plasma is very, very good for just your general all-around enemy destruction. Takes out armor, takes out regular targets. This is where I would say you would be better off, as opposed to, say, a Laspistol or a Grav-pistol. Plasma pistols, very effective. So, that is the plasma pistol and its abilities. Next, we're going to jump on to the bolt gun. Okay. Now we're going to talk about the bolt gun. Bolt gun is going to have single shot, armor breaking, assault, vulnerability physical, spread tight, breacher, and single target. Full auto, salvo, assault, fleshbane, spread wide, high suppression, breacher, single target. Concussive shot, assault, knockdown, knockback, better criticals, single target. And suppressive fire, area effect, assault, high suppression. So, this is a physical-based weapon. So, single shot. Very high damage. It does... Whoop. Ouch. Didn't see them there until it was too late. If you look, as I'm shooting, I am using up an ammo counter, which that does need to be reloaded. It does not have an overheat bar. This has an ammo counter just like any of the bolt guns or heavy bolters. So, and as you can see here, it deals a ton of damage to armored targets. So, the bolt pistol, and he was right up in our faces, so we were getting max damage too, deals a ton. As you can see, I am melting these covers. Most of these barrels are dying in one shot, and a lot of this other cover is dying in one or two. So, the bolt, single shot, extremely good. Full auto. Same thing, just a lot faster. And when the magazine on the one empties, Magazine on the other takes over. Then you reload both. Extremely fast. Not as much damage as single shot. But if you have a lot of small, light enemies, this will just mop them up very quickly. So, full auto is very good. Concussive shot. Basically, it just fires both pistols at the same time, delivering, you know, a better chance of dealing criticals, knockdown, knockback, stuff like that. It is very much think of it as a quick hit sniper shot for a bolt gun. That is how I would describe this. And then we have suppressive fire. A very, very quick area effect, little miniature exploding bullets. So, there's a group up here. We're going to go take them out. We're going to start off with our suppressive fire. Take them out with concussive shot. And I got to watch because I'm running out of enemies here. Then we're going to hit them with full salvo and then single shot. And where are you guys? There we are. So full salvo, like I said, it just instantly wrecks them. And like I said, even armor. Now, single shot does better against armor. Whoop. Hang on, what are you doing? Yep. I just like glitched there. There we go. Now it's responsive. I don't know why, but it got stuck on full auto. So, like I said, deals a ton of damage. So, bolt pistol, extremely good. I would definitely recommend this if you are going to build a pistol build. I would say either bolt or plasma. But that's the bolt pistol. Next, we're going to the Autopistol. Okay, so for the Autopistol, we have short burst, rapid fire, assault, fleshbane, spread tight, weak versus armor, single target. Full auto, salvo, assault, fleshbane, spread wide, weak versus armored, high suppression, single target. Crippling salvo, salvo, assault, stun, shock, spread moderate, single target. Assault, gunnery, salvo, assault, slow, spread moderate, weak versus armor, single target. Auto pistols are weak versus armor. Remember that. It says it right there on the card. Every single one of these skills is not going to really do much against an armored target. They will deal a ton of damage against a flesh and bone. That's why there's fleshbane on these. They will instantly 30% damage against unarmored targets. Fleshbane is a very good one to have against regular unarmored enemies. You will melt a regular enemy instantly. However, if you run against armor, this will not do that much damage. You'll deal damage, but it will be highly reduced. Crippling salvo is nice because it gives you a little bit to disable their movements and stuff like that a little bit. But they have to have a suppression first. So if they're in overwhelmed suppression, you can completely stun them. So it does give you the ability to escape if you have an armored target, like a heavy tank or something like that, or a real big beefy enemy. The crippling salvo will give you the ability to run away. So, let's show them off. So the first one we're going to do is short burst. Very quick on that. So if you have lots of just regular enemies, they're going to be just melting under this. So keep that in mind. Full salvo. Basically just the same thing, just continuous fire, and the spread on that, if you noticed, the bullets were going a little bit wider. To be honest, I would say stick with short burst over full auto. You're going to be hitting your targets a little bit better, and it's also going to be going and dealing a little bit better damage. So keep that in mind. Short burst, I think, is better than full auto on this. Crippling salvo. You can continue to fire it until you let go of the trigger, and it will have the chance to either shock or stun your target depending on their suppression level. So keep that in mind. And then assault gunnery. You will forward advance until you stop to reload. Once you reload, you'll stop, and then you can continue onward. Very much a mobility perk, or a mobility attribute of the pistol. So if you have a perk that allows you, you know, a damage bonus if you're moving, this would be very, very handy to have. So we're going to go up here, and we're going to see if we can't lure a few of these guys back, because I don't want to kill everybody all at once. So that's the burst shot. Out. And this is why I said, as you can see here, he's slowed down that armored target there. So we advanced, but again, dealing a ton of damage to these other guys. Alright, let's stun them. There we go. So, it's a decent pistol, but it's very, very much dependent on A, what level the pistol is, and B, what enchantments it has. If you've got something that increases fleshbane, or any sort of bleeding, or any sort of physical damage like that, these can be very, very powerful. As they are on their own without any enchantments, they're not the best. If you're going to go with a physical reload type weapon, stick with the bolt gun. Bolt gun is, in my opinion, the best one. But you can go and use this. Just always remember, you're not going to deal any damage hardly to armored. You can, but it's going to be very, very minimum. So, that is the Autopistol. The last one will be the Inferno pistol. Okay, so the last one is the Inferno pistol. Single shot. Vulnerability, heat. Breacher, single target. Melt-a-blast. Area effect, burning. Melting ray. Armor piercing, demolisher, single target. And Inferno beam. Channeled, barrage, armor breaking, single target, and burning. This here is a very much a heat-based weapon, but it is a unique heat-based weapon in that it has no ability to have any sort of physical conversion. Because, and I'll show, single shot. It is just a straight, pure laser beam. pretty much. Like, you will be dealing a ton of damage to cover, and not as much as some of the other weapons, but you will be dealing damage. However, if you notice, you can target out here, but look at my reticle. It's showing me the crosshairs here, but if I go out here, it hides them away a little bit. That is because this is very much a close range weapon. This is designed more for the close range than anything. So, that is single shot. Melt-to-blast is this. Basically, you shoot into the ground and you create basically an AoE on the ground. Anything that walks into that area will take damage over time. So, let's say you have a group of enemies here. Just hit the ground with that. Light it all on fire. They'll take damage. You can still hit them with single shot. But that is how that one works. Melting Ray. This is how you break armor. If we target this, we fire both our pistols at the same time. Very, very quick recharge. Extremely quick. It completely ignores armor. Like, if you have an armored target, this is how you do it. And like I'm showing you here, I'm aiming at this, and I'm not dealing any damage because I'm out of range. I have to get literally up this close with these. So, your pistols here, your Inferno pistols, you are going to need to be up close. The last one, Inferno Beam. Basically just a giant beam of death that you shoot out. Keep an eye on your charge and heat bar. It is going to go up very quick when you use this. So, let's jump into a combat. I'll show off the abilities. We're going to start off with Inferno, then we're going to hit Melting. Ouch. Fine. Have it your way. As you can see, it melts. It literally melts. Oop, that's the wrong one. Ow. Ouch. Alright. Single shot there. And then, as you can see, they're taking damage from being inside that puddle. Ow. Stop it. And then we're just going to do this and just melt everything that comes towards us. This is a very strong set of pistols. Its only drawback, in my opinion, is its range. The range on this is abysmal. Let's see if we can't take out this this heavy enemy over here with this. And boop. Keep on the move. Deal some AoE damage there, and it's gone. Like I said, it's a very, very, very strong set of pistols. It's its range that kills it, though. But it's not a bad thing because, you know, they're pistols. However, this one does not have something on it, if you look. This does not have the assault perk. This is the only pistol that does not have assault. So, I don't know why that is. I don't know if it's because it's already very powerful. But Inferno pistols do not have, on any of these, the assault perk. Even though you can only target something that is inside your cone of access here. Inside your close range. You can only target something inside there. Like I'm doing here. As you can see, it does not have assault on any of these skills. Everything else does. Except for the Inferno pistol. This is why this is a very unique pistol. Lots of damage. You're not going to get that assault damage bonus, though. So keep that in mind if you're building with the Inferno pistol. That's why I left that for last. Even though it does have that range handicap, and it doesn't have the assault, it is still a very good pistol. And, like I said, they're all like that. If you have a very good build, and let's say you have a plasma cannon or a plasma rifle or stuff, you could easily substitute it out for a plasma pistol. Because I can still target at range with the plasma pistol. Now, I won't get the damage bonus as much because, you know, they're designed for shorter range. But you can still utilize the same build style as your regular weapons in a pistol form. The only drawback is that it's going to be at a much closer range than what you're used to. So, but that doesn't really become too much of a hindrance because a lot of enemies will charge you, be up in your face, stuff like that. So these actually become very handy if you're dealing with large groups of swarming enemies. So my general consensus on pistols is I would definitely say if you're going to build with pistols, build an architect based off of what your favorite rifle is first. Get it all set up, whether it be a heat-based, a physical-based, you know, any of that stuff. Then wait until you get 2, at least, relic class, because you want these relic enchantments. Because remember, the primary purpose of having dual-wielding pistols is the fact that you're doubling your enchantments. You're having 2 weapons with 2 different sets of enchantments as opposed to 1. So keep that in mind. Wait until you get a good set of dual pistols. I would suggest, depending on how your build is, matching your pistols as well. Keep them the same. If you've got a build that's designed for a plasma rifle or plasma cannon, just dual wield plasma pistols. Just straight up stick with just 2 plasma pistols. Because in the end, it's going to be better to have a build that focuses on that than have to rewrite your whole build to incorporate, say, an Inferno or a bolt pistol. Don't go switching up your entire build just to incorporate a pistol. Make the pistol work into your build. That's my suggestion. So that is an overview of pistols, how they function, what they do, what the different types are, and where I think they fit into a character build. So if any of you guys have any suggestions, or if any of you have even, you know, built around pistols, let me know. Write it down in the comments, you know, anything like that. If you have any suggestions for anybody else even, you know, let them know. Hey, you know, this is the best way to utilize pistols. I may have missed something. I may be unaware of something that somebody else knows. Maybe this is, you know, it does indeed have the assault perk and it's just not listed and it's just a bug. So it may be there and I'm just not aware of it. So keep that in mind. If you guys have any tips or anything, just write it down in the comments. But that is going to be it for this episode. If you guys did enjoy it, you know, hit the like button. It does help me out a ton. If you want to see more from me, subscribe. And I will see each and every one of you in the next episode. Have a good day.